I was stocking shelves at Bradley's corner store when my phone exploded with notifications. 23 missed calls from numbers I didn't recognize. My hands trembled as I checked the lottery app. The numbers on my screen matched perfectly. 7-14-23-31-42-50. $87 million. I'd won the Georgia Mega Millions. My name is Deshaun Martinez, 28 years old, and until that Tuesday afternoon in March, I was just another guy working 2 jobs to keep his head above water. The winning ticket sat in my wallet, purchased with my last $20 after a 16-hour shift between the store and my weekend gig doing vac repairs. I remember standing in that fluorescent-lit aisle, hands shaking, thinking about Mama. She'd raised me alone in our cramped apartment on MLK Boulevard after my father, Raymond Martinez, walked out when I was 7. Going to get cigarettes, he'd said. That was 21 years ago. No calls. No birthday cards. Nothing. Mama worked 3 jobs, cleaning offices at night, serving lunch at the elementary school, doing hair on weekends, just to keep me fed and clothed. I called my best friend Marcus first. "Yo, D, you serious right now?" he shouted through the phone. "Don't tell nobody else, man. Get yourself a lawyer before you do anything." Smart advice. But I was still in shock, still processing that my entire life had just changed. I thought about Mama's worn hands, her tired eyes, the way she'd smile through exhaustion. This money would change everything for her. I had no idea the nightmare that was coming. If you believe family shouldn't exploit your success, hit that subscribe button. Only greedy manipulators won't. The claim process took 6 weeks. I hired Bernard Thompson, the best financial attorney in Atlanta, who connected me with advisors, accountants, and security consultants. I took the lump sum, $48 million after taxes. The first thing I did was buy Mama a house. A real house with a yard in a safe neighborhood in Cascade Heights, not a rental apartment with roaches and thin walls. I was sitting in Bernard's downtown office, signing the final paperwork for Mama's house, when his receptionist buzzed through. "Mr. Martinez, there's a Raymond Martinez here to see you. Says he's your father." My pen stopped mid-signature. My father. 21 years of silence, and he shows up now. Bernard looked at me carefully. "You want me to have him removed?" Something twisted in my gut, anger, curiosity, that stupid childish hope that maybe he'd changed. "Give me 5 minutes." Raymond Martinez walked into that office wearing a cheap suit that didn't fit right and a smile that didn't reach his eyes. He looked older, grayer, with lines carved deep around his mouth. "Deshaun. Son. Look at you, all grown up." He moved to hug me. I stepped back. "What do you want?" His smile faltered. "That's no way to greet your old man. I heard about your good fortune. Saw it on the news. Made me so proud, son. I've been thinking about you constantly, wondering how you turned out. Constantly for 21 years. I know. I made mistakes. But I'm here now, and we're family. Blood is blood, Deshaun." Raymond sat down uninvited, making himself comfortable in Bernard's expensive leather chair. My lawyer watched him like a hawk watching a snake. "Listen, son, I know I wasn't there. I was young, stupid, struggling with my own demons. Your mother and we had problems you don't understand." "Don't talk about Mama," I said quietly. He raised his hands. "I'm just saying, there's 2 sides to every story. Point is, I've been living in Birmingham, working construction when I can find it. Got a bad back now, medical bills piling up. Been thinking about reaching out for years, but pride kept stopping me." "Pride," I repeated flatly. "I wanted to come back successful, you know? Show you I'd made something of myself. But life kept knocking me down." He leaned forward, eyes glistening. "When I saw you won, my first thought wasn't about money. It was about my boy, my son, finally getting what he deserves. I thought maybe this was God's way of bringing us back together." Bernard cleared his throat. "Mr. Martinez, perhaps." "I'm living in a trailer park," Raymond continued, talking over him. "Barely making rent. Got diabetes now, Can't afford the good insulin. Been eating 1 meal a day most weeks. He pulled out his phone, showing pictures of a rusty trailer and medical bills. I'm not asking for charity. Just maybe, a chance to be in your life again. Help your old man get back on his feet. The manipulation was so obvious it made my teeth hurt. That evening, I sat at Mama's new kitchen table, solid oak, not the wobbly card table we'd used my whole childhood. She was cooking collard greens, the smell filling her beautiful new home. I'd told her about Raymond's visit. She stopped stirring, her back going rigid. When she turned around, her face was carved from stone. That man is poison, Dishon. Pure poison. Mama. No. Her voice cracked like a whip. You don't remember everything because you were just a baby. But I remember. I remember him stealing money from my purse to gamble. I remember him disappearing for days, coming back smelling like cheap perfume and cheaper liquor. I remember him selling your birthday presents, the ones I scraped together money to buy, to pay off his debts. I'd never heard this before. What? That Game Boy you wanted so bad when you were 6. The one that disappeared before you even opened it? He took it back to the store for cash. Told you it got stolen from the car. She wiped her eyes roughly. The reason he left wasn't cigarettes, baby. He left because his gambling debts caught up to him, and he was too much of a coward to face the consequences. Why didn't you tell me? Because you were a child. Because even a bad father's memory seemed better than knowing the truth. She grabbed my hands. Dishon, that man only came back because he smelled money. He's gonna try to take everything he can from you. I'm not giving him anything, Mama. Good. Don't let blood guilt trick you into supporting a man who never supported you. Raymond started calling daily. At first, it was casual check-ins, asking about my life, trying to build rapport. Then came the small favors. Could I cover his rent this month? Just $500. His car broke down, another $800. Medical appointment Coparis, $200 here, $300 there. Marcus warned me over drinks at our usual spot, the Copper Nail. Bro, you realize he's testing you, right? Seeing how much he can squeeze before you push back. I know. I'm keeping track of everything. Why you even entertaining this fool? That was the question, wasn't it? Maybe some broken part of me wanted to believe people could change. Maybe I needed to prove to myself that I was better than him, that I could be generous where he'd been selfish. 3 months after his reappearance, Raymond called with a bigger ask. Son, I've been thinking. You got all this money, living large. Meanwhile, your own father's struggling to survive. That don't seem right, does it? I've given you over $5,000, Raymond. 5,000. He laughed bitterly. You won 48 million and you think 5,000 makes you generous? I'm your father, Dishon. Half your DNA came from me. Technically speaking, without me, you wouldn't exist to win nothing. The audacity punched the air from my lungs. Are you seriously? I'm just saying, family takes care of family. I think 2 million would be fair. Just 2 million so I can get a decent place, take care of my health, live with dignity in my old age. That's nothing to you. I hung up. He called back 17 times that night. Raymond showed up at Mama's house 3 days later. I was there fixing her garbage disposal when I heard shouting from the front yard. Through the window, I saw him arguing with Mama on her new porch, his face red and twisted. I was outside in seconds. Get off her property. This is between me and Terence. Her name is Teresa, and you need to leave. Now. He turned that ugly expression on me. You turned my own son against me, Teresa. Poisoned him with your lies. I got rights. I'm his father. You're a sperm donor, Mama said coldly. A father shows up. A father provides. A father protects. You did none of those things. I was going through things. You never understood the pressure I was under. And now, when I'm finally trying to make amends, you're sabotaging me. He jabbed a finger at me. You owe me, Deshaun. I gave you life. And Mama gave me everything else. Get out. His eyes went dark. You're gonna regret this. I tried to be nice, tried to handle this like family. But if that's how you want to play it, fine. You think you can just cut me off? Watch what happens. He stormed off, and something cold settled in my stomach. That wasn't anger talking. That was a threat. Marcus came over that night. We sat on Mama's back porch, drinking beer in the humid evening air. You need to get ahead of this, he said. Whatever he's planning, you need protection. Protection from what? He's just mad. Mad people do stupid things. Rich mad people with lawyers do dangerous things. The papers were served at Bradley's corner store where I still worked part-time, because sitting at home spending money made me anxious. My co-worker Destiny handed me the manila envelope with wide eyes. Deshaun, there's a man outside saying you've been served? What's that about? My hands were steady as I opened the envelope, but my heart hammered against my ribs. The lawsuit header read, Raymond Martinez versus Deshaun Martinez. Claim, equitable distribution of lottery winnings based on filial rights and parental contribution. I read it 3 times before the words made sense. He was suing me. My father was actually suing me for half my lottery winnings, $24 million, claiming that as my biological parent, he had legal and moral rights to my good fortune. The claim argued that his genetic contribution and gift of life entitled him to 50% of any windfall I received. It cited cases about inheritance laws, twisted them into some argument about parental rights to offspring success. It even claimed emotional damages for my rejection of him. I called Bernard immediately. Please tell me this is a joke. I wish I could. Bernard's voice was grave. This is a nuisance suit, Deshaun. It has no legal merit. But that doesn't mean it won't be expensive, time-consuming, and publicly humiliating to defend against. He's doing this for leverage. Exactly. He's betting you'll settle out of court to avoid the hassle. Probably hoping for $1 million or $2 million to make him go away. I'm not giving him a dime. Good. Because the moment you pay, you validate his claim that he deserves something. We fight this, and we win. Raymond went to the media. Every local news station ran the story. Father sues son over lottery winnings, claims family rights. He did interviews, crying on camera about his ungrateful son who'd abandoned him in his time of need. I just wanted a relationship, he sobbed to Channel 5 News. I made mistakes when he was young, but I've apologized. Now he's got all this money, and he won't even help his own father afford insulin. What kind of son does that? My phone blew up. Old classmates I hadn't heard from in years suddenly had opinions. Strangers on social media called me heartless. Family is everything, they commented. Blood is thicker than water. He's your father. The irony was that the full quote is the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb, chosen family over biological family. But nobody cared about accuracy when they could judge a stranger online. Mama wanted to defend me publicly, tell the truth about Raymond's abandonment and abuse. Bernard advised against it. Don't fight in the media. Fight in court where truth actually matters. But the damage was done. I went from lottery winner to villain in the public eye. People at the store whispered. I got hate mail. Someone spray-painted greedy on my car. The worst part? A small, stupid part of me wondered if they were right. Was I being heartless? Should I have just given him something to avoid all this? Then I remembered Mama's worn hands. Her tired eyes. 21 years of silence. And I got angry. Bernard's investigators dug into Raymond's background for our defense. What they found was worse than I'd imagined. Raymond Martinez wasn't struggling in a trailer park. He owned a condo in Birmingham worth $350,000. He had 2 other children, half-siblings I'd never known about, with a woman named Denise Campbell. They're 17 and 19, Bernard told me, spreading photos across his desk. Keisha and Raymond Jr. And according to our investigation, he's been telling them the same sob story he told you. What? He borrowed money from both kids over the years, promising to pay them back. Never did. Raymond Jr. gave him $5,000 last year from a settlement he received after a car accident. Raymond told him he needed surgery. There was no surgery. The investigators found more. Raymond had sued his own brother in 2019 over their mother's estate, my grandmother I'd never met. He'd filed fraudulent disability claims. He'd been evicted from 3 apartments for non-payment despite having the money. There was a restraining order from his ex-girlfriend for harassment. This man is a professional victim, Bernard said. He's spent his entire life manipulating people and playing on family guilt. You're just his biggest target yet. I thought about those kids, my half-siblings, and felt sick. Does he even have diabetes? Oh, he does. And his insurance covers his insulin completely. Those bills he showed you? From before he qualified for Medicare. He's been covered for 3 years. Every word out of his mouth had been a calculated lie. Comment: everyone deserves respect if you can't stand manipulators like Raymond. The preliminary hearing was set for June 15th in Fulton County Superior Court. I wore my best suit, one I'd bought specifically for this, navy blue and properly tailored. Raymond showed up in the same cheap suit from his first visit, playing poor for the judge. His lawyer, a sleazer-looking man named Mitchell Palmer, argued that parent-child relationships created inherent obligations. Your Honor, Mr. Raymond Martinez's genetic material, his very essence, created Deshaun Martinez. Without Raymond, there would be no Deshaun, no lottery ticket, no winnings. We're not claiming he owns his son's money. We're claiming he deserves recognition and support as the biological father. Bernard stood, calm and precise. Your Honor, sperm donation doesn't create legal claims to offspring's income. By Mr. Palmer's logic, every parent could sue their adult children for portions of their earnings. That's indentured servitude, not family law. The judge, a black woman in her 60s named Judge Patricia Holloway, looked unimpressed by Palmer's arguments. Mr. Palmer, are you seriously arguing that biological parenthood creates financial rights to adult children's property? In cases of extraordinary circumstances like lottery winnings, we believe there's a moral and ethical component. This is a court of law, not philosophy class. Do you have legal precedent for this claim? Palmer fumbled through papers. Raymond's face went red. He suddenly stood up, ignoring his lawyer's attempts to stop him. You don't understand. I gave him life. He wouldn't exist without me. Half that money should have been mine because I'm your father. The courtroom went silent. Judge Holloway stared at Raymond. Mr. Martinez, you'll sit down and let your attorney speak, or I'll hold you in contempt. But Raymond was unraveling. 21 years of avoiding consequences, and now he was facing them in public. This is ridiculous. He's my son. My own flesh and blood, and he acts like I'm nothing. I gave him life. That's worth something. Sit down, the judge said coldly. Bernard saw his opening. Your Honor, if I may address Mr. Martinez's claim about giving life. We'd like to submit evidence about the defendant's actual relationship with his son. He presented documents, child support records showing Raymond never paid a dime. School records with my mother listed as sole guardian. Hospital records from when I was 9, stitches after falling off my bike, with Teresa Martinez as only emergency contact. 21 years of absence documented in black and white. Then Bernard called Mama to the stand. She wore her church dress, purple with gold buttons, and spoke with quiet dignity about raising me alone. About working 3 jobs. About Raymond stealing and gambling and disappearing. Did Mr. Raymond Martinez provide any financial support during Deshaun's childhood? Bernard asked. No, sir. Emotional support? Was he present for birthdays, graduations, school events? No, sir. Not once in 21 years until Deshaun won the lottery. And when did he first contact Deshaun after leaving? The day after his lottery win went public. Not one day before. Raymond's lawyer objected repeatedly, but the damage was done. The judge's expression had shifted from neutral to disgusted. Judge Holloway didn't need long to deliberate. After a brief recess, she returned with fire in her eyes. I've been a judge for 18 years. I've seen many frivolous lawsuits. This might be the most egregious. Raymond sat up straight, hope flickering across his face. Mr. Raymond Martinez, your claim has no legal merit whatsoever. Biological parenthood does not create ownership rights to offspring's property. Your 21-year absence negates any moral claim to filial obligation. This lawsuit is dismissed with prejudice. With prejudice meant he could never file this claim again. Furthermore, Judge Holloway continued, I'm awarding Mr. Deshaun Martinez full legal costs and attorney fees to be paid by the plaintiff. Mr. Raymond Martinez, you will also pay $15,000 in sanctions for filing a frivolous lawsuit designed solely to harass and extort. Raymond's face went purple. This is bullshit. He's my son. You can't. Marshal, remove Mr. Martinez from my courtroom. As security dragged him out, Raymond screamed threats and curses. You're gonna regret this, Deshaun. You hear me? You're gonna regret turning your back on family. I'm your father. I'm your father. His voice echoed down the hallway until the doors closed. I sat there feeling like I'd been holding my breath for months and could finally exhale. Mama squeezed my hand. Bernard allowed himself a small, satisfied smile. It's over, he said. But it wasn't. Not quite. 3 months later, I sat in my own place, a modest townhouse in East Point, nothing extravagant, with Marcus and Bernard sharing beers on my back deck. The legal fees Raymond owed me had been collected from his Birmingham condo, which he'd been forced to sell. Turned out he wasn't quite as broke as he'd claimed. I'd used some of the money to set up trust funds for my half-siblings, Keisha and Raymond Jr. They'd reached out after the trial, apologizing for their father's behavior. We'd met for coffee, compared stories, recognized ourselves in each other's experiences. They were good kids dealt a bad father. Mama was thriving in her new house. She'd retired from all 3 jobs and spent her days volunteering at the community center, teaching kids to read. She'd also started dating a gentleman named William who actually showed up when he said he would. Revolutionary concept. I'd gone back to school, studying business management. The lottery money was invested wisely, generating income while I built something meaningful with my life. I'd also started a scholarship fund for kids from single-parent households, because I knew firsthand what that struggle looked like. Raymond? Last I heard, he was living with his brother in Tuscaloosa, still running his mouth about how his ungrateful son had ruined his life. Some people never learn. You know what the craziest part is? I said to Marcus. Part of me used to feel guilty. Like maybe I should have helped him just because we share DNA. And now? Now I know that family isn't about biology. It's about who shows up, who stays, who loves you when you've got nothing to offer them. I raised my beer toward Mama's house, visible through the trees. I already had everything I needed before I won that lottery. The money just made it easier to see. If you believe real family is built on love, not manipulation, hit that subscribe button. Only users and con artists won't. Drop a comment saying loyalty over biology if you stand against people who exploit blood ties for personal gain. The case of Raymond Martinez versus Deshaun Martinez became a precedent cited in other family law cases. Judge Holloway's ruling made it harder for estranged parents to make financial claims on adult children based solely on biological connection. I never heard from Raymond again. And that silence, it was the best gift he ever gave me. Sometimes the family you choose is better than the family you're born into. Sometimes walking away from toxicity is the strongest thing you can do. And sometimes, winning the lottery teaches you that the real jackpot was the people who loved you before you had money to give. Mama was right about everything. She always had been. That's my story. A father who showed up for money but never for love. A lawsuit that tried to claim biology trumps character. And a judge who reminded everyone that being a parent is about presence, not genetics. To everyone out there dealing with toxic family members who only appear when they smell success, you don't owe anyone access to your life just because you share blood. You don't owe anyone who abandoned you during struggles a piece of your success. Real family doesn't need a lawsuit to demand what they deserve, because real family earns love through action, not demands it through manipulation. And to the Raymond Martinezes of the world, sperm donation isn't fatherhood. Showing up 21 years later isn't reconciliation. And you can't sue your way into someone's heart after you abandon their childhood. Justice isn't always served, but sometimes, in a Fulton County courtroom on a hot June afternoon, it is. I'm Deshaun Martinez, and I won the lottery twice, once with money, and once when I learned who deserved to share it with me.